Thanks for joining us this week. Sorry if you had some technical difficulties getting in. We've had some troubles today, but we're finally on. Today we're going to talk about several collaborative tools. Three, in fact. We're going to talk about Pear Deck, Padlet, and Piktochart. We're going to talk about how you can use each of these in the classroom to not only boost your instruction, but also engage students on a different level. So we're going to jump right in and go straight into Pear Deck first. And I'm going to switch my screen out here and share with you what we're looking at. Pear Deck is an online tool that a lot of people used to use for flashcards, but it actually does a lot more than it used to. And a lot of people that aren't familiar with it might be surprised about the different things that you can do. Now, all of the tools that we're going to talk about today allow you to utilize your Google account as a login, so it's pretty easy to jump into. Once you're on peardeck.com, just click on Teachers and Students, and then click on Teacher Sign In, and you can, like I said, use your Google account to access Pear Deck. And the thing that I really love about this is, like I said, where a lot of people used to use Pear Deck for flashcards and things like that, it is fully integrated with Google Drive and Google Classroom. And so a couple of things I'm going to show you real quick. Number one, at the top right here, you can just click New to create a new Pear Deck. But if you click Open, you can actually grab slideshows from your Google Drive account and use those as a presentation tool. And so I'm going to jump in and just use this one. It'll take a second to upload your files, but before you start, it asks you how you want to use these. Now, the great thing about this is that you can present to kids and they can log into your session, to your slideshow, and you can either have pre-selected interactive questions that you've edited beforehand, or that you import into your Pear Deck file, or you can just present with questions on the fly like I'm about to do. So then what it does is it downloads your slideshow from Google Drive. The first one that I did was a little large and it took a long time to upload, so I chose a different one this time. And then it gives you some step-by-step instructions. So it's asking you, do you see this on your projector? And then it gives you a link where the kids can go on their mobile device, either a Chromebook or an iPad, and they can join your session. And then they put in a code to join the session. And then after you do that, then you jump in and you can start your slideshow. Now, the entire time that you're presenting, the code is down here at the bottom, so that if a student joins late, they can get in and enter the code. And then you can just step-by-step go through your slides. Now, like I said, you can create questions and import those into your slideshow when you're ready, or like I've done here, I can just ask a new question. When you click Ask a New Question, it gives you some options here. You can re-ask an old question, or you can type in a new question for the current content, or you can click New Interactive Question. If you do that, then you've got options for draggable questions where they can agree or disagree. They can draw their answer, which is good, because if you're teaching, like, say for instance, a science concept and you need them to draw a diagram of what they've learned, they can do that, or they could do math, or you can do just a quick on-the-fly multiple choice or free response. I'm going to do agree or disagree, and like for instance, they would be seeing an option where they could drag a dot to agree or disagree, and then I can say, the best Google tool is Google Slides, and then they could say if they agree or disagree with that. So, like I said, it's very basic. You just import your slide deck. You can ask questions on the fly like we've done here. But if you're ready to end your session, then you just click the three dots at the bottom right, and you can click End this session. You can also do a student-paced session where each student can move at their own pace, and they can answer pre-selected questions that you've edited ahead of time. So at the end, when you end your session, you can name your session so that you can get to it later, and then you can review responses. And then if you look into some of the tips that they have on their website, you can actually have Flubaroo grade the responses after your session is over. So there's some pretty cool stuff that you can do with it. And if you get the chance, you might just Google Pear Deck tips and it'll take you to their blog where you can see some of the things that you can do with Pear Deck. The other thing is at the bottom left of this menu over on the side, there's an add-on section, and if you activate the Google Classroom add-on, then you can connect your classes from Google Classroom to Pear Deck, meaning that you can then add your classes in, and you can assign Pear Decks to your students in your Google Classroom, and it just, you know, links that up nicely so it's easier to use. So that is Pear Deck. That's one of the 3 tools that we're looking at today. The next one we're going to jump into is Padlet, and we're at Padlet.com. I've used this one for different things when I'm doing workshops for teachers, but it's a great tool because it is so simple to use and it's easy to set up, and it's a way that you can create like a message board where respondents can put a little sticky note on there and they can contribute their thoughts or add to, maybe you're doing a planning session with a team and they need to add to the concepts that you're planning for your project. So to sign up, it is free, but I've already got an account, so I'm going to click log in. And again, you can log in with Google, and it'll ask you which account you want to use. And then once you're in, you'll see a dashboard with any Padlets that you've already created, or you can make a new Padlet. Now, to give you an idea, last year I used this one along with a team as we were putting together a Chromebook one-to-one Padlet board. And when you open this one, you can see we were able to add our own little background, and we added our notes in about different things regarding policy. And the way I set this board up is if somebody starts a note, somebody else can edit the note and add to it, or they can just click the little plus sign at the bottom and edit and add their own note anytime they want. Now you're going to notice here on this little sticky note that's been added here, I can type a title in here, or write anything that I want to. But in addition to that, you can add voice. You can add a voice audio attachment. You can add video. You can add attachments from your computer, which is great because if you've got students that are contributing documents to a project, they can all be here in one place. You can also take snapshots, pictures, add images, anything that you want to. And these are movable. You can move them around the page anywhere that you want to and arrange them however you want to. Or you can have it set up in a pre-designed format. So I'm going to back out of this one, and then I'm going to click Make a Padlet so that you can see what this looks like. This is kind of new. This wasn't always there. So if you've used Padlet before, you're going to notice that now they've got some templates that you can use. And here you've got a wall or a canvas where you can arrange the content any of the way that you want to, or a stream or a grid or a shelf. I'm going to pick the shelf, and then again, all of this is free to use. It's totally free. There are some paid features that you can add on if you decide to become a paid member, but you just go in and you edit your title. You can change your description if you want to. You can change your background and make it anything that you want to. If you click the More button, they give you several different backgrounds that you can utilize, and then you can jump back. And then everything that you need to know is step by step in this pane over at the right. Now again, they'll tell you from time to time if you want more options, you can always do the premium plan. The icon over here at the top left next to my name, I can change that. Okay, so it's particular to my project. And then you can set Creative Commons rights on your Padlet. You can set it up so that viewers can comment on posts, and they can react to posts with likes or votes or things like that. And then you can tag your Padlet any way that you want to so that people can find it later and when they're searching Padlet. So if you wanted to, if it was a topic about Google, you can tag it with Google, or if it was about, science or math, you can tag it that way, depending on the topic you're using. And then at the very bottom, this is your address. and you can change this if you want to. The great thing about it, and you can't put spaces in there, the great thing about it is you're not going to be limited a whole lot to your custom name, because it's padlet.com/yourname and then the custom name for your Padlet. And then once you've got those things set up, you hit next, and then you can choose the privacy settings for your Padlet. And so here, this is good because you can make it private to yourself. You could password protect it so that students enter a code to get in, or you can make it public and then tell how those that have access, what they can do, whether it's read, write, or moderate. I typically would choose write, especially if we're doing a collaborative thing. And then you can choose, this is great for teachers, you can choose to moderate the items that go on the Padlet before they appear, especially if it's a public or a shared Padlet. And then finally you just hit next, and then you're done, you're ready to go, you can start posting. And so again, this one is a little bit different from the one I had before because of the template I've chosen. It's putting everything in columns. But hopefully you get the gist of the way it works. I have used this in several different ways, like I said, for collaborative projects, but when you're ready to share it with other people, again, you can just go back in here and you can grab the Share, Export, Embed section, and you can get a QR code. You can copy the link and then email it to somebody or post it on your blog using the embed code that's here. When you're done, if you want to save your Padlet as an image that you can post somewhere and use it like an infographic, you can do that as well. Now, since we're kind of talking about infographics now, that's a good segue into the next tool. And so our third tool of the day is Piktochart. Now, Piktochart, this is something that I'll be talking about in one of our classes in the spring. We're going to have an infographics for the classroom teacher workshop, and Piktochart one of the things that we'll talk about at that time. And if you've not used infographics in your classroom, this is a great way to do instruction with your kids. You can actually put infographics on the wall to explain a concept or to reinforce concepts that you taught in class, or you can have students create their own infographic using Piktochart for student projects so that they can show understanding. Now again, like I've done with the other two, I told you that this one you can use your Google account to log in, and once you're in, you'll see that you do have some templates that you can use. Like if you click on the infographic tab at the left, you'll see that they do have some pre-designed templates that you can start with, and if you hover over it, you can either preview it or you can use that template. Any of these templates that you pick, by the way, you do have the ability to customize every piece of it, including the color, the background, the text, the graphics that are on there. So even though what you see may not be exactly what you want, it might be the layout that you want, and that gives you a good place to start. But what I did earlier today is just to kind of show you how this works, I went to my dashboard and I just created one from scratch. And I'll show you the preview of it. This is a roadmap of Google history, and I just wanted to kind of create a timeline so that students can understand how long Google has been around and sort of the evolution of their company. And so this is what it looks like right now. If I'm going to edit that, I just click the pencil, or back here on my dashboard, I could have clicked edit when I hovered over the Piktochart. And so you can see here, you've got a canvas here where you can work with your infographic. And over here at the left, you can choose from their graphics library, which includes all these things here. And if you don't know what you want, you can either browse, but for instance, in the shapes and icons section, since I was talking about Google, I just searched for the word Google, and I found that they already had some pre-selected icons that I could import into my presentation. And this is the other thing too. I clicked to add this one in there, and then I changed the color of it just by using the color fill tool. And so you can alter the graphics slightly if you want to make them fit your presentation and your color scheme. Overall, on the left, you'll also notice that you have an upload section. So if you want to use your own images, you can upload pictures or photos that you've taken in class, or any drawings that you've made in Google Drawings. Just save them as a PNG file, and then you can upload them here. And you can add GIF files as well. They also have backgrounds, and then this is the thing that I really like the most: text boxes. Because the one thing that I'm short of on sometimes with this stuff is creativity, and I'm not always the best at coming up with a nice flashy way to show off text. And so they've got some text frames that you can choose from here to dress up your infographic and make it look the way you want it to. So anytime you want anything, you just click on it, it adds it. It can be resized. You can double click on elements to edit them. And then, like I said, if you don't want that, just delete it, and then you can throw something else in there. So it's very simple to use, very user-friendly. When you're finished, just make sure that you name your infographic and then click Save, and then it'll appear in your dashboard whenever you're ready to go back and edit it later. You can always download your infographics or share them with others. And of course, it's asking me to name mine. I just updated my file name, and you can choose how the link works. And so here it's only I can view it, but if I change that to anyone can view, then you can choose any of these social media formats. You can embed or use the link here. And if you want to password protect it, that is a premium feature that you would have to pay for, but that's something that would be interesting, because if you wanted to make it so that anyone with the link can view it, but you just wanted your students to see it, you could give them a code to get into it, so that if it had protected information in it, you could keep others from getting in. Well, that's basically it for those three tools. Great collaborative tools. If you've not tried them, I suggest you give them a try. These are a great way to increase student engagement. As I said before, you can do lots of great things with them. And if you do choose to use those in your classroom, give us some feedback on how you've used it, and let us know if you've had some success and how the kids like it. Well, thanks for joining me this week, and we'll see you next time. Have a great week.